Welcome to the speaking portion of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner for this part of the test. May I see your identification, please?
As you may.
Thank you. And what is your full name?
Well, my last name is Buchanan. My first name is Davis, but please call me Dave.
Okay, Dev. Here is your identification back.
Thank you.
And I'm going to record this for marketing purpose.
Okay.
The speaking has 3 parts that will give you instructions for each part. For part 1, I'd like to get to know you a little bit better and ask you some questions on a general topic.
Sure.
Where did you grow up?
So, I was born in Monterey, California, but I actually grew up in Long Beach, California.
What do you like to do for relaxing? Why?
I like to go swimming. There is a good pool close to my home, and I find that not only good exercise, but it's a very good way to unwind from the stress of the work week.
And let's talk about vacation.
Okay.
What do you like to do on your vacation from work?
I mostly enjoy going to sightseeing and checking out at historical cities such as Rome or doing something active like going to Hawaii for summer and doing some surfer and usually take about 2 weeks. Just this a month ago. I had 14th day and went to Florida to visit a cousin in Miami. I usually find that is enough time to relax and recuperate.
Okay. What was your favorite vacation until now?
That's a tough one. I have many good vacations, but if I had to choose one, I would have to say that my airplane adventure this past winter to Aspen, Colorado. That was one the best was snow of the powder. It was just perfect. So weather was great and snowboarding just second of to none.
If you could go anywhere for a couple of weeks to relax, where would you go?
I think I would go to Costa Rica based on recent recommendation from good friends of mine. It seemed like that very nice country to visit and I haven't been there. It sounds like jungle are amazing, art, the surf incredible. That would be my next destination.
Have you visited another continent?
Yeah, I'm sure I have actually visited many countries around the world. That been over Europe and I was in South America and Asia as well.
Okay, what was your opinion about them?
I have different but good opinion about me to play with it. For example, I really enjoy the natural beauty that South America has to offer and I love different cuisine such as Korean barbecue, which is one of my favorites.
That is the end of part 1. Now we will continue with part 2. For part 2, here is a card with some questions. Please don't turn that over yet.
Okay.
And here is a pencil, and here is some note paper. And you will have 1 minute to think of your answer. Write notes if you wish, and then you will have 2 minutes to speak. I will tell you when to start and when to stop. Are you ready to begin?
Okay, so I like to speak about my cousin Jerry. So he is one of the master's people I know. He not only has a degree in math from Stanford University, but he owns his own business and has a family, a wife, and a father of 3 children. He is of average height. He's got blue eye, blonde hair, 3 both Bill Clyde, who always smiling. He is my mom, older sister, son, so he a little bit older than me. Jerry not very intelligent but also very hardworking, which is something I really admire about him. As I mentioned, he not only has a doctorate in math, teaches part-time 3rd and 4th year students at university. He also come up with some his own math formula and theorems. In addition to his, he used his math and people skill to build his brokerage firm, which he now runs and about 10 staff, and in his business, he makes lucrative investment on behalf of wealthy investor. He is very good father, and he always pay attention to spending quality time with his wife, and especially used to be children just last week. And when I pick him together, I join them in the park and throw some ball with the kid. So his journey has a very bright future ahead of him. I mean, he's already a very successful businessman and professor.
Okay, Dave, I'm going to stop you there. 2 minutes is up, so please pass back the note paper, the pencil,
Thank you.
the card and bill, please. And now we will continue with part 3. For part 3, I'm going to ask you some more questions related to the topic of part 2. Are you ready to continue?
Sure, let's continue.
Let's talk about intelligence. What makes a person intelligent?
Well, there are many different criteria for intelligence, and there are many different types of intelligence, but I would say a good indicator of general intelligence is ability to problem solve. So people who are, let's say, better problem solver than 95% of the population and are considered to be intelligent. Isn't that always true? Well, not always. There, as I say, different type of intelligence. So let's say if a person is an extremely gifted, painful, or painter, but that mistake doesn't necessarily make them a good problem solver, but that is also a form of intelligence.
Some people feel that being very intelligent can also be a burden. Do you agree with this notion?
Certainly do, yeah. Generally speaking, is the most intelligent among us are the one that society relies on to solve our problem for us. For example, my cousin Jerry is faced with this type of issues sometimes when an investment doesn't pan out of one and his silence, then the blame falls on him.
It is often agreed that intelligence is very difficult to measure. Why it is well?
It's because, as I mentioned before, there are many different types of intelligence. So to be more specific, there is scientific intelligence, there is mathematical intelligence, meditation, and architect. Just to name a few, and why a person may be considered intelligent in one more domain, it won't necessarily make them intelligent in another.
And what are some of greatest achievement?
Well, I would consider megastructures such as Burj Khalifa or Three Gorges Dam in China to be greatest engineering marvels of the last half century.
How about non-physical achievements?
Well, I would say that the most important non-physical achievement of the last half century would have to be the internet, but also mapping of the genome and perhaps virtual reality.
What is needed for major accomplishments these days that are internationally recognized?
Well, they have to be outstanding to say the least to set themselves apart. I mean, there are nearly 8 billion people on the planet, so it takes quite an achievement to stand out from the crowd. So, for example, something like cure of a sprinter earning the 100-meter dash in under 9 seconds.
How will the major achievements of today impact future societies?
I believe they will have profound impact on future society. For example, we spoke of the inner price book of internet. The tools that we use today, such as social media, such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, already having a major impact in society as we know today, and I think this will only continue in the future.
Okay, that is the end of part 3. That concludes the speaking portion of the IELTS exam. You will have your result about 2 weeks time with the other portions of the test. Have a great rest of your day, Dev. Remember to take your passports. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome to speaking portion of IELTS exam. My name is Orion. I will be your examiner for this part of the test. May I see your identification, please?
As you may.
Thank you. What is your full name?
Well, my last name is Bushman. My first name is Davis, but please call me Dev.
Okay, Dave, here's your identification back.
Thank you.
And I'm going to record this for making purpose.
Okay.
The speaking has 3 parts that will give your instruction for each part. For part 1, I like to get you know you a little bit better and ask you some questions on a general topic.
Sure.
Where did you grow up?
So I was born in Monterey, California, but I actually grew up in Long Beach, California.
What do you like to do for relaxing? Why?
I like to go swimming. There is a good pool close to my home, and I find that it's not only good exercise, but it's a good way to unwind from stress of the work week.
Let's talk about vacation.
Okay.
What do you like to do on your vacation from work?
I mostly enjoy going sightseeing and checking out historical cities such as Rome, or doing something active like going on Hawaii for some hour, doing some surfing, and I usually take about 2 weeks. Just a month ago, I had took 14 days and went to Florida to visit a cousins of mine. I usually find that this is enough time to relax and recuperate.
What was your favorite vacation until now?
Well, that's a tough one. I've had a many good vacation, but if I had changed one, I would have to say that my alpine adventure this past winter to Aspen, Colorado was one of the best. For snow, the powder was just perfect, so the weather was great, and snowboarding was just a second to none.
If you could go anywhere from a couple of weeks to relax, where would you go?
I think I would go to Costa Rica. Based on recent recommendations from good friends of mine, it seems like that's a very nice country to visit, and I haven't been there. It sounds like the jungles are amazing and the surf is incredible, so that would be my next destination.
Have you visited another continent?
Yeah, I sure have. I actually visited many countries around the world. I've been all over Europe, and I was in South America and Asia as well.
What was your opinion about them?
I have different but good opinions about me to play visit it. For example, I really enjoy the natural beauty that South America has to offer, and I love different cuisines such as the Korean barbecue, which is one of my favorites.
Okay, that is the end of part 1. Now we will continue with part 2. For part 2, here is a card with some question. Please don't turn it over yet.
Okay.
And here is a pencil, and here is some note paper. You will have 1 minute to think about your answer. Why not if you wish? And then you will have 2 minutes to speak. I will tell you when to start and when to stop. Are you ready to begin?
Yes, I am okay.
Go ahead, turn over the card, and your 1 minute preparation time begins now.
Okay, so I'd like to speak about my cousin Jerry. So he's one of the smarter people I know. He not only has a degree in math from Stanford University, but he owns his own business and has a family, a wife, and a father of 3 children. He's of average brother. He's got blue eyes, blonde hair, pretty built guy when he's always smiling. He's my mom's elder sister's son, so he is a little bit elder than me. Jerry is not only very intelligent, but also very hardworking, which is something I really admire about him. As I mentioned, he not only has a doctorate in math, he also teaches part-time third and fourth year students at university. He's also come up with some of his own math formulas and theorems. In addition to this, the user has math and people skills to build his brokerage firm, which he now runs with about 10 staff and in his business. He makes lucrative investments on behalf of wealthy investors. He's a very good father and he always pays attention to spending quality time with his wife and especially his to be children. Just last week and when I picked him together and I joined them in the park and threw some ball with the kids, so he really has a very bright future ahead of him. I mean, he's already a very successful businessman and professor.
Okay, Dave, I'm going to stop you there. 2 minutes is up, so please pass back your note paper and a pencil.
Thank you.
The card as well. Please, and now we will continue with part 3. In part 3, I'm going to ask you some more questions related to the topic of the part 2. Are you ready to continue?
Yes.
Let's talk about intelligence. What makes a person intelligent?
Well, there are many different categories for intelligence and there are many different types of intelligence. But I would say a good indicator of general intelligence is the ability to problem solve. So people who are, let's say, better problem solvers than 95% of the populations are considered to be intelligent. Isn't this always true? Well, not always. There's, as I said, different types of intelligence. So let's say if a person is an extremely gifted painter, but that message doesn't necessarily make them a good problem solver, but that is also a form of intelligence.
Some people feel that being very intelligent can also be a burden. Do you agree with this notion?
I certainly do, yeah. Generally speaking, the most intelligent among us are the ones that society relies on to solve our problems for us. So, for example, my cousin Charlie is faced with these types of issues sometimes when an investment doesn't pan out for one of his efficiencies, then the blame falls on him.
It is often agreed that intelligence is very difficult to measure. Why is this well?
It's because, as I mentioned before, there are many different types of intelligence. So to be more specific, there's a kinesthetic intelligence, there's mathematical intelligence, spatial and artistic, just to name a few. And why a person may be considered intelligent in one domain, it won't necessarily make them tell together in another.
What are some of the greatest architectural achievements of the past 15 years?
I would consider mega structures such as the Burj Khalifa or the Three George Dome in China to be a great engineering marvels of the past half century.
And how about non-physical achievements?
Well, I would say that the most important non-physical achievements of the last half century would have to be the internet, but also the mapping of the genome and perhaps visual reality.
What is needed for major accomplishments these days that are internationally recognized?
Well, they have to be outstanding to say the least to set themselves apart. I mean, there are nearly 8 billion people on the planet, so it takes quite the achievement to stand out from the crowd. So, for example, something like a cure for AIDS or a sprinter earring the 100 meters dash in under 9 seconds.
How will the major achievements of today impact future society? How will the major achievements of today impact future society?
I believe they will have a profound impact on future society. So, for example, we spoke of the enterprise book of the internet. The tools that we use today, such as social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, already having a major impact on society as we know today. And I think this will only continue in the future.
The end of part 3. That concludes the speaking portion of the exam. You will have the results about 2 weeks. With the other portion of the test, have a great list of your day, Dave. Remember to take your passport. Thank you.
Thank you.